You can probably tell from my tone just how frustrated I am that they've left a problem like this for us to pick up. I've just had a very good meeting with President Zelensky where I made it absolutely clear that as far as the UK is concerned, the change of government makes no difference to the support that we will provide. We've been united on this when we were in opposition, and it was really important to me to be able to affirm that face-to-face in the meeting. I did speak to him immediately after I was sworn in as Prime Minister last week. And so we build on that here at NATO at this important summit because it is an opportunity for our Labour government to reaffirm our commitment to NATO. We obviously signed the original treaty way back. We reaffirm today, but also to discuss with President Zelensky what further support that he needs, and to use our opportunity here with our allies to make sure that that support is agreed and to reinforce, in a sense, as a message to Putin, the resolve of NATO, bigger now than it's ever been, more united than it's ever been, and absolutely clear-eyed about the threat of Russian aggression.
Prime Minister, you've been in the job for a few days, but the scale of the challenges are absolutely immense. Taking a step back, do you feel the weight of that responsibility on your shoulders?
I'm very pleased to be in the position of having formed a Labour government for 2024 with a very, very strong mandate. You're right, there's a lot that needs to be done, both domestically and internationally. It is fantastic to have this early opportunity here in Washington to meet our NATO colleagues, to double down on a commitment to NATO, and to discuss, as we have been in Council, how collectively we sort of increase and strengthen our resolve when it comes to defending Ukraine.
There are, though, huge domestic problems too.
Yes.
Has it been daunting? Have things been worse than you expected?
Well, if I take one example, which is prisons, then the answer is yes. I knew we would inherit a problem, but the scale of the problem is beyond what I imagined. It is a basic duty of government to have enough prison places for those that the courts are sending to prison. That broke down under the last government, and they did nothing about it. That is shocking. Whichever political party people support, that's shocking. Got to pick that up and fix it. There are plenty of other examples. But look, we now have to do the fixing, and we then have to do the long-term thinking to make sure that we are better off as a country, our public services are running properly, and I relish the opportunity to turn this around and to take our country forward.
And prisons is the one thing that's flashing up on the dashboard as a big warning light. That's the biggest problem, do you think?
Yeah, I've been really shocked. I think it was grossly irresponsible of the government to leave this mess. I can't build a prison overnight, that is obvious. But for a government to have allowed this situation to evolve in the way that it has is, and I say this not just as a politician, but somebody who spent many years in criminal justice, it is a basic function of government that they have totally failed on. And you can probably tell from my tone just how frustrated I am that they've left a problem like this for us to pick up.
Fear of aggression. All NATO members are making the pledge to expand our industrial base and our industrial capacity, like our defense spending commitment. This is a critical step to maintaining our security. First time ever, every NATO nation is pledging...
You've said you can't do things quickly. It's a bit of a honeymoon moment for you now, but are you asking people to bear with you? Are you asking for people's patience?
Yes, I've said through the campaign, and I say now, that we can't fix everything overnight. We can get started, roll up our sleeves, and hit the ground running. And I think and hope that you've seen evidence of that in the last week. But there are long-term problems, long-term fixes, which will take time. I think people understand that. What they want to know is, are you getting on with the stuff straight away that you can deal with? And do you have a long-term strategy? The answer to both of those questions is yes.
The Right Honourable Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
By the way, I heard.
Good news.
Good news is right. I tell you what, it's all because of the Prime Minister.
Not lost a game under the Labour government in 2024.
Football coming home, Prime Minister.
It looks like it.
Well, welcome. And it's good that we had a long conversation on the phone when you won. Give me your hand there, pal. And we're the best of allies maybe in the whole world. And we really need to continue to cooperate, and a lot we can talk about. And I think that start off, we can talk about, you call football, we call soccer. By the way, soccer has become incredibly popular here in the United States. It really is growing. And, but at any rate, and there's a lot going on. I think you're seeking closer ties in Europe is good for all of us, the Transatlantic Alliance. I think it's a great idea that we're going to be working together on. I thought we had a good meeting today, NATO.
Very good.
I thought we had
Very
a good
good.
meeting, and I think things are moving in the right direction. I'm feeling really optimistic about the way things are moving. But welcome.
You met President Biden yesterday. I understand that meeting went well. Do you think the rest of the world is getting a fair representation of his abilities in the job? Because there's a huge amount of criticism, people saying he's too old to stand again.
Well, I'd spent 45 minutes, more than that in the end, probably best part of an hour with him yesterday in a bilateral. We went through a lot of issues. We went through them at pace, strategic issues. He was on good form, and it was a really good opportunity, actually, not to just discuss those issues, but to cement and reinforce the special relationship, which matters very much to him.
Did he give you any
and to
advice?
me. Well, we discussed all sorts of issues in terms of, his priorities, my priorities. That was a good thing to do. But the special relationship, of course, came up, NATO and Ukraine.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for your time.
Thank you. Firstly, congratulations on a really successful summit. It's been an incredibly important moment, 75 years, a bigger NATO, a stronger NATO, and a NATO with the resolve that we need. But the special relationship is so important. It's forged in difficult circumstances, endured for so long, and stronger now than ever. So we're very pleased to be able to come so early in the government to recommit to NATO, to recommit to the special relationship, and to have the opportunity to discuss these affairs with you is really important for
From a
us.
figurative sense,
5 days in.
I kind of see you guys as the knot tying the Transatlantic Alliance together. The closer you are with Europe, the more you're engaged, the more, because we know where you are, we know where we are in both countries.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And now we go into a cup final on Sunday on top of all of that. So very good. I actually I began to watch the game with the Netherlands Prime Minister, but we left at 1-1.
Well, you guys are still talking to one another?
We haven't seen each other since, so we'll have to
Anyway.
see.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. So thank you all for coming in.